Welcome to Aikido Fit Life. I am your host, Kevin. Helping me today is Larry, and we are going to look at some deflections with the sword and how it translates into hand and body movement in Aikido. Today what I want to look at is a deflection with the sword to build shuriage, which is a deflection on raising the sword and cutting. When the sword is pointed at the opponent, we're going to use the curve of the spine of the blade to deflect the other blade. What I want to do is keep the tip of the sword on the center, and I want to just roll my wrists so that the sharp edge is pointed away from the oncoming blade. I just want to roll it so that the tsuka gets about to my hip, but the tip stays on the center. My body turns just slightly, and the tip stays on the center, and the tsuka points off to the side, which is making this angle here that my fingers would make if they were on the center to my shoulder. And we'll talk about that in a moment, this side or this side. When he walks in to stab me, instead of this sliding right down my sword, I'm going to roll it to the outside and watch how it deflects it to the outside of my body. So as he stabs, it misses me, but my tip is still in line with his throat, right in the center. So he walks in, and I just roll my tip, and he misses, and he misses me. And then on the other side, same thing. My tip is right in the center, and he misses me completely. And my sharp edge is not pointed toward his sword. My sharp edge is still free and pointed at him. So I'm deflecting with the dull back of the blade, and I'm keeping this down at an angle as opposed to raising it up. I want to keep this suihei angle in my sword all the time. So he's coming in, and I keep this here so that it covers my whole body as much as possible. Like the stabbing, shuriage uses also the momentum of his cut in order to deflect it away from me. So as he's cutting straight down toward my head, I'm going to raise this at the same angle. I'm going to move it to that angle, keeping my tip on the center, which will ramp his to the outside of me as long as I get it up early enough. So he's coming in to strike, and I'm just creating this angle. It may get caught on my tsuba, but with movement, it'll deflect. So he's coming in, and it misses me, and I'm on top to hit. So all I'm doing is raising my sword and striking, but I'm raising it at an angle and then striking. So as he strikes, I'm raising it and striking. And he's missing me by quite a bit. So he's missed from like that far, just by the momentum of his swing and the angle of deflection, but I'm not moving off center. So in this deflection, I'm not moving off center. And it doesn't matter what side it goes to, as long as I go to a side. Now without swords, our hands work the same way. So my hand is extended like a sword, and my wrist is on center, so the tip can deflect, but it comes out to the outside of my shoulder. So my hands are in my center, but my wrist is really actually in my center. My fingertips are just slightly off. So as he comes in slowly and he strikes, I'm coming up right in the middle. So he's punching in, and I'm coming up right in the middle. And my hand is off, his hand comes off to the side, but my hand stays in the center. So as he's coming in, boom, and it deflects because it's the same angle. And then if he's punching hard, it moves him out here, but I'm still on the center. So as he steps in, I'm just raising my hand to strike him, or raising my hand to punch him, or whatever it is I'm gonna do. As he's attacking me, I'm clearing this space by his momentum, without yet moving my feet. I'm using this angle on my arm. And I'm in the center. Looking at the hand angle that we just did, so if his hand is up here, my hand angle is here. So that's just the hand deflection angle. The reason I want to move my feet also, I don't ever want to just move my hands. I always want to move all of me using my tai sabaki or body movement. So as he comes in to punch me, he still has all of these other weapons that I don't know whether or not he's using. So if he's coming in to punch and kick at the same time, even though I deflected this, he's still kicking me. So every time I want to move offline so that I'm not in front of his leg. Right? So I'm deflecting, boom, and I'm here, and I'm not in front of his leg. Kick with that hand and that foot. So boom, and he misses me, right? And we can come into Sokomen Rimanage from here. Like it's just that entrance. Because he's kicking, and I'm stepping, and I'm deflecting this arm, but he's missing me with this leg. So I have a very powerful angle here because I have stepped offline and I'm pointing back into his line of attack. So as he comes in, he's missing me here. I'm hitting him or following through and taking him, or I can catch this leg or I can come under this leg, whichever it needs to be, but he's missed me and I'm engaging him. A different parrying detail that is very important, but I'm going to use Haso no Kamae position to demonstrate or illustrate this. When he swings at me, he's going to swing at me. The first thing I'm going to do is show it to you correctly, then I'm going to show it to you incorrectly, then correctly again, and why. So as he swings, he misses and I'm on center, right? If he swings, he's going to hit me this time. So if the tendency of people is to want to push the sword away from them, want to move the sword away from them, but what they need to do as nage is keep it very close, but where it doesn't hit you. So if he swings, I want this very close to me, and it still throws his sword to the outside of me, but then I'm on center. So as he swings, it misses and I'm right in center. I moved my body offline just slightly. So he's swinging and I'm on center. However, bring your sword to here. So this, I want to engage it way up here and bring it down, which will bring it to the outside of me. If I try to push this away so that I feel safer, what will happen is I will outrun his blade and he will kill me. As he swings, if I push my sword away from me, I will outrun his blade and it will hit me. So as he swings, I'm going to get here and then I outrun it and it hits me, right? But if I keep this very close, it feels like it shouldn't work, but it works correctly. So as he swings, I keep this close and it throws his sword way out there and mine is on center. And my tsuka is in center for my left hand and I have more protection. So even if I just roll up, boom, boom, you know, I can be there, then I can clear or I can go past him. It opens doors to other options. But I need to keep this, I need to keep this very close to me. Right? So it's inside my shoulder, it's about a fist away from my mouth. And it will deflect him to the outside of me. Now how that translates into hands and why it's important is because if he's punching me and I move this way out here, he didn't hit me, but now I don't have him either, right? So if he's punching fast, while we're being static, this is all great in practice, but in reality, he's gonna bring his hand back, right? So when he punches fast and brings his hand back, it's not there anymore. And I'm trying to push it out. Sure, he didn't hit me, but that's not good enough. So he's gonna punch, and I'm gonna bring it, and it's not here, which causes some people to have a difficult time catching a punch. But how this really should work for aikido is he's gonna punch in slow, just so you can see what I'm talking about, is I'm doing the shuriage, and then I am cutting away, just like I would with a sword, toward his shoulder or elbow. So there's the grab. So if he's punching and recoiling, it comes back down his arm. So he's punching, and there's the grab. But I'm also moving my body, which is going to change the dynamic for both of us. So he's gonna punch, and I'm stepping, and as I step away, it's changing the angle of my arm as I move. So I'm going to be cutting toward the outside of his shoulder, and he's basically bringing his arm back to my hand. And my angle will help pull him off balance. Go with that. So he's coming here, and I'm over here. I am not doing this. I am doing this. Just like the Haso no Kamae cutting down. So as he comes in, I'm here in my center, and then as I turn, I am cutting my hand straight back down, but my body is moving, which creates this circle in his body. So I'm coming back and cutting it down so that it's in my hand. And my hands and feet have to move together. So he's punching in, and he's recoiling, and it brings it right to my hand. I'm raising the sword and cutting. So he's punching, boom, and there we are. And he's gonna punch and recoil fast, and there it is. So my angle, when I step this second foot, it pulls against his strong posture. So his recoil is bringing him off balance. So he's gonna punch in fast, and there it is. Now I wanna make a point to talk about why we use the back of our hand to deflect instead of just going straight for the grab. If he has a knife and he's slashing at me or swinging at me or stabbing at me, well, he's not going to swing it and just leave it here, just like you wouldn't with a sword or a knife or anything else. As soon as he swings, it's going to finish. You see it? As he swings, it's going to continue on its motion, or he's going to stab and bring it back. He's not going to just stab and leave it there, or cut and leave it there and wait for me. I mean, that wouldn't even cut, even if he touched me, you know? So, I mean, it's got to be a cut, right? Everybody who's going to cut or use a knife at all is going to stab. They're going to bring it back. So as he brings it back, what I do not want is this, right? So he's cutting, and I'm going to go, oh, I'm going to grab his hand, but he's already recoiling, right? He's already following through, so he cuts my forearm, which is bad. Or he cuts the palm of my hand. Ah, that sucks, right? Because then he's going to just keep cutting. It's not like, haha, he cut my hand and now he'll give up. So what I need to do is I need to always deflect with the back, because if he cuts this, it only cuts down to those bones instead of all the meat and muscle on the inside of the arm that makes your hands and arm work. So as he cuts and recoils, he cuts the back of my hand, not the front of my hand. I want him to cut this. I can make an impact here and still live through it and still be able to use my hand for a little while. So now as he's going to cut me and bring his hand back, I don't want his hand to get away from me. So to do the technique that we were doing a moment ago, but with a knife, it's real important that I be able to control that. So I am moving my body offline and I'm cutting down up here. I'm not trying to attack where the knife is, I'm trying to attack where the knife came from and where it's going. So like as soon as he moves, I'm trying to get in here, either ahead or back. But I'm reaching for where the knife started and it's going back to. So he's going to cut fast. Try to get this up. He's going to cut fast, and I cut it down. And I want to cut it down at such an angle that I'm not bringing it through my guts or stabbing it into my own leg. Go slow. So I'm coming here, and as he recoils, I'm cutting it down so that it misses me, so that it's far away from me. Go with the other one. And then we can move into technique from there, whether it's Sokumen Rimanage or Shionage or any of the other things that we can do from there. Today, we looked at this little deflection here, keeping the tip on the center and making the same angle that our arm would make, this triangle here. For shuriage, we looked at how it's important to keep things close to you and not just throw them away so they're useless. We looked at how to use the back of the hand and cut down and move. Those are just some things to think about, things that I think make Aikido practical. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Larry, for helping. Please subscribe to Aiki Fit Life and have a nice day.